Good evening. Mrs. Lari was unfortunately detained in Khairpur, and so she sends her warmest regards and apologizes for not being able to be here today. I'm going to be talking about building urban bridges through tangible heritage. So I'm going to start with a brief introduction on Heritage Foundation, which is a Pakistan-based not-for-profit social and cultural entrepreneur organization. It was established in the 1980s and it's engaged in research, publication, and conservation of Pakistan's cultural heritage. We have also developed tools for development, utilization of heritage and traditions for rehabilitation and development in post-earthquake and post-floods areas. Now, Karwan Pakistan, previously it was known as Karwan Karachi, was formed in 2000, and it promotes volunteerism by engaging students in heritage safeguarding and assisting in post-disaster areas. Now, the canvas of Heritage Foundation is divided into two main categories. One is heritage, where we are working in areas from Hazara to Peshawar and Lahore and Khairpur and Karachi. And then we have our humanitarian aid, which started it after the earthquake, and it went on to post-militancy in Swat in 2009, and then post-floods in Swat and Sindh. So we at Heritage Foundation believe that all tangible heritage built prior to 1947 must be protected based on its values, which were aesthetic, historic, scientific, or social. We've devised strategies and training programs in order to safeguard cultural heritage legacy as a basis of cultural identity of Pakistan and future generations. Now, there's two images here. On the left, there's the Lokhat House in Sangar, which is in the district of Tando Alai Yar, and then we have the Hindu Gymkhana in Karachi. Now, there are different types of heritage assets in Pakistan. First and foremost are the World Heritage Sites, which include archaeological remains. For those of you who don't know, I'm talking about Rohtas Fort. There's Makli, which is actually the historical remains of Thatta. And then we have the the Lahore Fort and Shalimar Gardens, among others. Then obviously there are hundreds of monuments of national importance all over Pakistan. They range from different areas like Karachi and Lahore, and a lot of then there's thousands of urban historic assets forming downtowns of most urban centers. For example, in Karachi we have Sadr, and I'm sure most of you have seen them. Then there's, of course, scores of historic landscapes within many urban centers, and then there's vast legacy of diverse vernacular architecture. Now, the problem with urban heritage is that it's mostly under threat. There's constant threat of being pulled down, either demolition or arson. Recent examples would be Bolton Market and Empress Market in 2011. So this is the Bolton Market. There was a campaign by Heritage Foundation and the Institutes of Architects Pakistan. You can see over here that there's a crane here, and this is the burning building, and another crane here, and this is while it was. And then this is the Saga of Destruction. We named it the Saga of Destruction, and so you can see how badly the buildings were affected by the arson. And then here again. And this is the Empress Market burning, which was very recently, last year in March. And so what happens normally is that if a heritage building is a problem for somebody, or if somebody wants the land for some other sort of construction, they normally term it as an electrical short circuit and the building is burnt, and then it's considered dangerous and then pulled down eventually. So now Heritage Foundation has been striving for protection of urban historic architecture and its integration into development plans of cities. So in 1995, a legal framework was developed to catalog and hence achieve protection for over 600 historic buildings. And then there were defining of conservation zones. There were 10 different zones defined in Karachi in 1994. There was also development of planning landscape pedestrian areas within these conservation zones. But of course, these haven't been kind of really been, you know. So here you have the Sadr pedestrian precinct. It's here. This is the Sadr pedestrian precinct, and then this has the Empress Market Gardens. Empress Market is right here. This black space, and then the circle below. This is the cultural precinct. This includes the Hindu Gymkhana and the Arts Council. There's also the Burns Garden here, and so Heritage Foundation has been proposing different projects for conservation of different areas in Karachi. One of them has been Empress Market Gardens. So basically that entailed rehabilitation of the Empress Market itself, and then the creation of a landscape piazza in front, plans for below ground parking for about 500 cars so that the urban congestion kind of decreases around the Empress Market area. And then, of course, all the kiosks and the telewalas outside, they would be moved to a subterranean market to accommodate those shops. This is a plan of the Empress Market Garden. Now, you can see over here that this is the Empress Market itself, and then the piazza that I was talking about. And these would be the sunken courtyards that would entail all the shops. And of course, a kind of a garden type area. And this is one of the models that was made for the project. This is still in proposal. It's not been developed and then of course the Empress Market was burned. Then another proposed plan was the revitalization of Marriott Road near Kharadar, also known as Juni Gali. Now, if you could see, this is Denso Hall, and this is the street that goes. This is main M.A. Jinnah Road. So this is the current condition of Marriott Road. This is, as you can see, this is Denso Hall, and this is Marriott Road, also known as Juni Gali. Prerequisites of historic street revitalization would be the cleaning of heritage facades, removal of encroachments and vehicular traffic, removal of tangled electric cables that you can see here. Well, not here really, but there's also, we need to design sewerage and water supply system. There needs to be proper signage for shops and streets. If you go around the Sadr, you would see that most of the heritage buildings are hidden behind massive adverts. Then there's, of course, landscaping of pedestrian areas. Most of the Sadr region is clogged with traffic, and I mean, the time that it was made, it was probably for pedestrian traffic. So, I mean, then of course there's regular solid waste disposal systems, design push carts and kiosks, cultural activities of diverse communities, because the whole Kharadar area has a lot of different communal things. Of course, this is a proposed Juni Gali view. Currently, there's a mosque here, which is an encroachment, which be impossible to get rid of. And this is This is the conservation of Denso Hall. We're proposing it to be the Karachi Heritage Gallery. It's being supported by KESC at the moment. Conservation is in progress. This is on the left is Denso Hall before conservation, and we're proposing the facade changes on the right. This is different stages of Denso Hall in the process of being conserved. This is basically what was very interesting that we did here was these columns had massive layers of paint attached to them. So what we did was there were these damp towels and that we attached to the pillar, and there was with a hairdryer they were dried, and the paint was actually peeled off each column. And then these Corinthian capitals were removed of all paints. We've we've actually redone the whole roof because there was a lot of water seepage and the tiles were breaking. Then there's, I'm going to move on to Peshawar now, which is the Sethi Mohalla. We're currently working in the Sethi Mohalla. This is the Sethi House in Peshawar. It was it was constructed in 1834. The conservation began in 2010. This is where fixing up the Tarseem Bandi, and basically the building was structurally not sound in certain areas, so it was retrofitted in certain areas. And then, of course, we constantly keep talking about urban heritage, but what Heritage Foundation is trying to do is to build a bridge between rural and urban heritage. What we do is that we constantly keep talking about how we need to save urban heritage, but what we forget is that there's a lot of rural heritage also in Pakistan, and that needs to be saved. So as part of that, we're doing we've been carrying out scientific studies of vernacular heritage, and since 2005, Heritage Foundation has built a diverse range of low carbon footprint structures from Hazara and Swat to Sindh. We've built over 2,000 shelters. We've built 187 household washrooms and kitchens, 5 primary schools, 7 women's centers, 3 health centers, 1 museum, and 2 community resource centers. And these are all done by vernacular methods of construction. So we've got some green, low carbon footprint structures, as Mr. Roland D'Souza was talking about being sustainable. We've done some suitable low-income housing. As you can see in the photograph, this is a recent project that we did. We've retrofitted existing buildings in Sindh, which were built through vernacular construction. And so what we did was that we just repaired them or retrofitted them. So this is actually, the house had lost its roof, and so we retrofitted it with a caravan roof, which has got a bamboo cross bracing and with strong multiple bamboo joists and lime and mud rendering for weather resistance. So basically and then there's this, which is the Caravan Chora in post-flood Sindh. These are adobe walls with a conical bamboo roof. And this is basically a vernacular methodology that you can see all over Sindh. And so what we're doing now with Mr. Arif Bilgami is that he's collaborated with us on a design for an eco-tourist retreat for visitors in Côte d'Ivoire. And this is basically taking from that vernacular construction and converting it into like a tourist retreat. Now, what we're hoping to achieve through this is that we would then, be able to incorporate the vernacular construction and make it viable so that, and make it popularize it for and so we've got some village centers in post-flood Sindh. This is a typical caravan ghar, which is suitable as a one-room school. We've got bamboo cross-braced skeleton and lime renderings and stone foundations. The size has been taken from UNICEF school standards as a proper school, one classroom school. This is a larger school that we did in Khairpur. Now these are suitable as three-room schools. They're built on stilts and therefore disadvantages urban community prone to flooding. This is something that we did in Swat, which is a women's center. You can see that it's bearing the snow load. So the talk of it being a kacha ghar and flowing away with is kind of. And then we've got Women's Center in flood-prone Khairpur. This, as you can see, is also 2 stories. It's suitable as a garden pavilion or assembly spaces. We've got bamboo cross-braced skeleton, mud and lime rendering, stone foundations. Now this is the roof inside. We've got a multiple bamboo joist roof for larger spans. It's 16 feet in diameter and about 24 by 16 feet in size. So what we're trying to do through this is that we're trying to make it a popular notion that development of heritage should not just be limited to urban areas. We're trying to bridge the gap between urban and rural areas. We're trying to see that development is not just limited to certain privileged class people. We're trying to extend it towards people who don't have so much. Hopefully by the end of this month we will be embarking on a project with IOM to build about 10,000 structures in all over different areas of Sindh. So hopefully that should work out. I would like to say thank you so much.